Chapter 143. I Can Still Make You Pregnant. Old Man Nightmare watched in a daze as the face of the proud prodigal and talented daughter of his sect master turned as swollen as a pig's head. His old face twitched, and he did not know what to say for a moment. Even the sect master has never hit miss like this. A bitter smile appeared on his face. Things had gotten out of hand this time. With the young Miss personality, she would probably be at odds with this old ghost in the future. The sect master's recruitment plan might be affected. Unexpectedly, Wuxia was silent at this moment. It was unknown if she was traumatized or thinking about how to get back at him. Some cultivators who were spying on this place also had strange expressions. TSK, how dare he hit the heavenly ghost sex goddess? The nether divide body was actually beaten down by a cultivator of the same level. This can be said to be the biggest event of the entire year. Who is this guy? Why does he have the Dharma treasure of the blood-robed old ghost? I have to quickly investigate this matter. I'm afraid it'll be a little difficult for the heavenly ghost sect to recruit this person. After figuring out the situation, the hidden thoughts of these cultivators dissipated. Sanshi released his foot, turned around, and raised his hand. A stream of blood flew back and wrapped around his body, turning into a belt. What rest? I want to go back in this state. Well, Old Man Nightmare smiled bitterly. If the sect master saw her return in this state, he would probably attack the blood-robed old ghost in a fit of anger. Wuxia wiped the blood from her nose and stared at Sanshi. If I don't defeat him, I won't clean my wounds. Then you'll be a shrew with chicken nest hair for the rest of your life. Sanshi belittled her bluntly. Impossible, Liu said confidently. It's impossible for your cultivation speed to be faster than mine. Do you really think that having a divine body is just for show? Sanshi really wanted to brag that he had managed to reach the perfected foundation establishment realm in half a year. Not to mention that he had a divine body. For normal cultivators, even to achieve a holy body, it would take much longer than half a year. However, it was not good to be targeted by the sect master of the heavenly ghost sect. He could only take it one step at a time. Ignoring Wuxia, he said lightly, Nightmare, let me ask you something. Where can I buy a demonic seed? Do you want the Blood Seeker seed, or the Soul Demon seed? Or the Prime Demon seed? My heavenly ghost sect only has the Soul Demon seed. Old Man Nightmare asked. The three demonic seeds he mentioned could devour flesh, soul, and cultivation respectively, but each could only devour one type. It's best if it's a three-flower demon seed. Sanshi shook his head. Since he wanted a demon seed, it had to be of the highest grade. This was what Liu had used to devour his essence, energy, and spirit. The three-flower demon seed is very precious, and it's very difficult for golden core cultivators to obtain it. You can only ask the sect master. Old Man Nightmare shook his head. You don't have to be afraid. Sect master is still very open-minded. He won't treat you differently just because you beat up Miss. Who said I'm afraid? Since your sect master has it, let's make a trip. Sanshi originally wanted to ask if he knew of any clues and search for it himself. Unfortunately, there was no place to buy it, so he naturally had to meet the sect master of the heavenly ghost sect. As for being afraid, what was he afraid of? It's not like he was afraid of death. You've got guts. Wuxia took another look at Sanshi. She thought that Sanshi would be too scared to go. What guts do you need? If I go, your sect master will have to thank me for teaching you how to be a person. Sanshi mocked, and his words made Wuxia so angry that she started to doubt herself. No, my father will definitely avenge me and teach you a lesson. TSK, you only know how to call for your dad when you can't win. I think you should just hide behind him for the rest of your life. Don't come out and embarrass yourself. Sanshi scoffed. Brother Blood Robes, you should stop talking. We've already wasted a lot of time here. Old Man Nightmare smiled bitterly. Although it's a truce, it doesn't mean that there's no danger. Then lead the way. Sanshi also realized that more and more people were secretly spying on him. It was not just people, but there were also traces of demons. It was indeed not wise to stay long. Old Man Nightmare secretly shook his head at Wuxia. He took out a small boat and invited Sanshi to sit on it. After activating it, the flying boat suddenly left. Wuxia looked at the back of Sanshi's head. She really wanted to knock him out and beat him up to vent her anger. In the end, she still did not have the confidence. After a moment of silence, she formed a seal with both hands. A ball of water appeared and began to flow around her body to wash away the dirt on her. In the end, she did not choose to go back in disgrace. That would be too embarrassing. As she washed herself with the flowing water technique, wisps of purple-black light emitted from her body. The palm prints, wounds, and fist marks that she had left disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. It could be seen that her physique was indeed magical. As for her clothes, they were obviously special Dharma treasures. They were not damaged. After washing the dirty things on her body, her wounds disappeared and she restored her beautiful appearance. She was wearing a long purple dress, revealing her slender calves and sparkling feet. She was lying lazily in the flying ship. Her skin was fairer than snow and she looked vibrant. Wuxia had a slim figure with a perfect golden ratio. Her waist was slender, and her butt was not small. Her body had not fully developed, but she already gave off a fleshy and soft feeling at the same time. She was dressed rather casually, revealing her exquisite and symmetrical collarbone. Her red lips were bright like roses, and her oval face was tender and slightly round. Her eyebrows were slightly raised, giving off a coquettish and domineering aura. Her black hair was scattered wantonly and fluttered in the wind. Sanchi turned around and took a look. "You're pretty, but it's a pity that you have such a foul mouth. If you don't speak, you will be less annoying. That way people might even like you and want to sleep with you." Wuxia's face darkened. She wanted to kick Sanchi, but when she thought about how she had exposed herself, she resisted the urge and snorted. "If you don't speak, you are not so annoying either." "You know who started this?" Sanchi replied, indifferently. He stared at Wuxia's exposed legs and raised his hand. "The journey is boring and I have nothing to do. Let me touch your thigh." "Tiss off." Liu hurriedly dodged and cursed, "You old pervert. You're already more than 1,000 years old, and you still have the cheek to covet me. Wanting a woman is a man's instinct. Moreover, cultivating the demonic path requires one to be carefree and follow one's heart. I just want to touch it. Is there a problem?" Sanchi was not ashamed and said matter-of-factly, "And so what if I am more than 1,000 years old? I can still make you pregnant." "You." This was the first time Wuxia had seen such a shameless person. She usually had a noble status. Who would dare to say such crude things in front of her? Even other geniuses of the same level were polite to her and would definitely not dare to do this. In the end, she could only scold him for being shameless. She turned her head away and stopped talking to him. In the end, Sanchi did not touch Wuxia's leg. After all, he was not a real demon. Instead, he was a young master who had studied poetry and literature for a few years. He was not that shameless. Old Man Nightmare could only shake his head helplessly. His miss had met her match this time, and was completely dominated. The flying boat tore through the air at a very fast speed. Sanchi looked in the direction and realized that they were heading to the Thousand Poisons mountain range. He frowned slightly. Could it be that the various demonic sects had already occupied this place? Soon, his guess was confirmed. The Thousand Poisons mountain range was already filled with demon cultivators, and he could sense many powerful fluctuations from afar. In the mountain range, different places were occupied by the various sects. Array formation power could be felt in the air. Old Man Nightmare flew towards a mountain peak. On this mountain peak, there was a huge black ship. The words Nine Nether were engraved on the bow of the ship, and it was filled with black fog. Wisps of cold aura surged towards him. Sanchi felt the surrounding temperature suddenly drop. They had entered the attack range of the Array formation.